Right here at NBTV, we have none other than Janice Mathis, the spearhead of this great Rainbow Push Coalition event. Of course, this is absolutely phenomenal, honoring none other than the great Reverend Jesse Jackson. 50 years of putting in service, of course, for representing African Americans in America at large. Let me ask you something. As being the spearhead of this event, Ms. Janice, how do you feel about this initiative, of course, going forward?
The Creating Opportunity Conference is really designed to be a culmination or sort of a summation of the work we do all year. So when you see all these illustrious pastors here, Carolyn Knight, Cameron Alexander, Dr. Moss, those people don't come because you send them an invitation 2 weeks out. They come because you work with them all year, helping their families stay in their homes, helping their children get college scholarships. A lot of people don't realize at Push we give out over $200,000 in college scholarships every year. There are Jesse Jackson scholars all over the country. So obviously I'm proud of the work we're doing, but I'm grateful to God for having the spirit and the will to do the work.
Where do you get, of course, your intuitiveness, of course? We here at NBTV presented an opportunity, of course, to put this particular event in the lights on a national stage. And of course, it took you to make an executive decision on that. Where did you get your intuitiveness, of course, making sure and deciding that this particular network would be the network to have the opportunity to cover such an illustrious organization?
I'm smiling because I think one of the gifts that God has given me is a gift of discernment. And there was something about your integrity, something about your persistence, something about your manner that let me know that even though I wasn't personally familiar with NBTV, that you could be a trusted provider for us. And so, once again, my instincts and God gives me that vision to be able to see. Grateful. All glory goes to him.
And here it is, folks, the president of the Rainbow Push Atlanta division, of course, by the great leader, none other than the Reverend Jesse Jackson. I'm standing by the president, none other than Miss Janice Mathis, of course, locally here in Atlanta. We want you guys to continue to stay tuned right here at NBTV as we continue to support one of the most illustrious organizations and one of the greatest leaders of the 20th century, none other than the great Reverend Jesse Jackson. And here's his president here locally, Miss Janice Mathis. We want you guys to continue to watch us here at NBTV. Right here at NBTV, the Rainbow Push Coalition honoring, of course, none other than Reverend Jesse Jackson, one who has put in over 50 years of work in the civil rights movement, and still today he's fighting to bring about change for all Americans. But let me ask you, we have none other than Excel Adams here, the national, of course, director of Rainbow Push. We would like to know some questions here at NBTV. How do you feel about what needs to be done in order to bring about change?
Well, there's a lot to be done, in particular with the churches. I am actually the national director of what we call 1,000 Churches Connected, and I have over 1,800 churches that are members that I work with throughout the country. So I travel to all over the country. But what we do with the churches, we have a movement which we call financial empowerment, which we talk to our congregants about not being enslaved to your debt, not getting in too much debt that you cannot enjoy your life and you cannot bless God, and taking on too much debt, not leaving inheritance for your children's children. And so today we honored 6 prestigious pastors in the Atlanta area, one from Chattanooga, Tennessee, actually, and we honored Bishop Shields at a Hopewell Baptist Church. We honored Dr. Jerry Black at Beulah Baptist, and we honored Marvin Moss at Cascade United Methodist Church. We honored Reverend Kenneth Alexander from Antioch North Baptist Church, and we also honored a magnificent, wonderful teacher, preacher, and author, and her name is Dr. Knight, Carolyn Knight. And lastly, we honored a young man by the name of Bernie Miller out of Chattanooga. All these churches, just these 6 churches alone, represent over 30,000 congregants. Now that's powerful, Doc. Brother Everett, that is powerful. So what we're trying to do is pull our resources and remind the church from which we come and how much power we have and what we can do. When the church speaks, people listen. And when we walk, we move mountains.
Let me ask you this, Brother Adams. We would like to know right here at NBTV, can we get a concerted effort from your particular department within Rainbow Push to continue to see to it that NBTV cover events within the initiatives that you're working on, especially with churches, because that's the masses, that's the ground roots masses within the African American community.
Absolutely.
And we need to be there on the ground, covering the stories, seeing what's really going on within our community and what needs to be done, and getting that information transmitted throughout this country so that our people can really find out what needs to be done in order to bring about change.
Absolutely, you had that commitment from us. And what we're trying to do is remind pastors of who they are. Sometimes we can get caught up or we can lose ourselves in what's going on, but we need the church. We have churches that are going into foreclosure. As a matter of fact, we have churches that are in forbearance and about to go into foreclosure themselves. We are losing our homes, and the church is the rock. But when you lose your job, and when you lose your home, and you lose your church, you feel like you lost it all. And so that's why the church is so significant, because we're trying to help them find their grind and their ground and to be stable and to be the pillar of the community that they once were.
And there it is, folks, by none other than Excel Adams, the national director of 100 churches.
1,000.
1,000 churches, of course, for the great and the Honorable Rainbow Push Coalition that's headed by none other than the great Reverend Jesse Jackson. The local leader here is none other than Janice Mathis, who's the president of Rainbow Push Coalition, who was one to see to it that NBTV had this opportunity to broadcast this initiative throughout the world. We want to thank you openly here. We want to, of course, ask of your continued support.
Thank you.
And we want to move forward right here at NBTV.
And you all support them.
And that's what it is, folks. We have Excel Adams here, our national director for Rainbow Push Coalition. Stay tuned right here at NBTV.
Bless you, Doc. Bless you.
We are at the Rainbow Push Coalition, of course, big convention here in Atlanta. It has been absolutely phenomenal here today. We have a legend within our community, folks. One who has put in 27 years of work, none other than Mr. Greg Calhoun out of Birmingham, Alabama. This man is absolutely phenomenal, folks. I'm talking about one of the profound leaders, not only within our community, but within America at large. Mr. Calhoun, what we would like to know right here at NBTV, what needs to be done? I mean, you are a leader from the business perspective in our community and for Americans at large. You know Americans need jobs. What really needs to be done?
Well, we need to start believing in ourselves and thinking we can make things happen in our own community, take back over our community, and then strive to educate our kids so that they can go to college, come back in and help run our business, help grow it, diversify it, make it better for us. I'm here today because I have $1 billion opportunity for minorities. So I brought it back to Rainbow Push because when I was coming up in these conferences, somebody else helped me grow. Reverend Jackson put me with bankers, put me with Bank of America. I sell all the hams going to Cuba today. Got a national contract with Cuba. I started my grocery business, I got my marketing company, I got an insurance company. I'm one of the largest owned black business in the whole United States, thanks to God. I'm 25th and been there for 15 years on the top 100 black business. So we can do it, we just got to believe in ourselves and commit and be dedicated to what we're doing.
And here it is, folks, from one of our most powerful and influential leaders. One final question, right here in NBTV, by its host, Stanley Everett, which is myself. We would like to know, can we get a concerted effort of your support in reference to seeing to it that NBTV goes on in the broadcasting initiatives within this country to see to it that African Americans receives the real stories, not the false stories?
Stanley, you got my commitment. I'll be behind you 100% with this. I think this is much needed, and I'm glad to see you here today, and I'm glad you're getting this word out to the minority community.
We have none other than Maceo Sloane from Durham, North Carolina. I mean, this man is absolutely phenomenal within the African American community. We're talking about an attorney, a businessman, a financial advisor. We're talking about a professor. We're talking about one of the legends within this 20th century. Mr. Sloane, I mean, you've advised so many. You've taught so many, such as myself. What do we need to do today? And we definitely need to take your advice in terms of turning this thing around to bring about tremendous social and economic change on behalf of America.
We need to understand the power that we have of the pocketbook. When you look at the dollars that are spent by African Americans in this country, it's enormous, but we get virtually nothing for it because we don't organize, we don't demand things. You look at what's happening with the Hispanic community, and we should be working with the Hispanic community also. We look at what's happening with them, and you see in magazines advertising focused directly at the Hispanic community, but you don't see any focused at the African American community. And when the question is asked, like the African American publications say, well, why don't you advertise with us? They say, oh no, we just do general advertising, it covers everybody. But that's not what they tell the Hispanic press. So we just need to be better organized and better focused and have our kids understand that for there to be a 9.1% unemployment rate among Caucasians and an 18.6% unemployment rate among African Americans is just totally unacceptable.
That's right.
And for the unemployment rate among our kids, our teenagers, to be 52%, we can't accept that.
There it is. Folks, this is not only a giant in stature, he's a giant in deeds. We have Maceo Sloane, one who has the ability to advise us on so many different arenas in our community, so many different industries. You need a talk show, believe it or not. NBTV would love to give it to you, believe it or not. We would love to continue to gain your support, believe it or not. Folks, I'm telling you, we need to continue to listen to this brother. He has a plethora of information. He's here honoring none other than the great Reverend Jesse Jackson, one who has put in over 50 years of service. Can we continue to gain support right here at NBTV?
Absolutely. Absolutely. We think this is a great thing, and we need to have more of it.
And there it is, folks, from none other than Maceo Sloane, one of the African-American community's giants. We want you guys to continue to stay tuned right here at NBTV. Right here at NBTV, we have none other than the great, the honorable, the legend of legends, Jesse Jackson, a modern-day giant, folks, in our time. One who has went on and done so many initiatives during the Civil Rights Movement. Now today, of course, is Jobs with Justice. We would like to know here at NBTV from none other than the greatest of greats in this day and time, Reverend Jesse Jackson, what needs to be done?
We need to stand and not accept home foreclosure as normal. It's abnormal and it's wrong. Don't accept church foreclosures in great numbers as normal. It's abnormal, it's wrong. And so when we stand together and march together and vote together, we always win. We've never lost a battle we fought. We never won a battle unless we fought.
Let me ask you this, Reverend Jackson. We all know, of course, the Republicans are continue to fight our great president, none other than President Barack Obama. They just shot him down yesterday. What are your feelings about?
They shot themselves in the foot. The fact of the matter is that you can't hurt somebody without hurting yourself. You can't help without being helped. And so they're willing to sink the ship just to destroy the captain. That's a mean spirit. But if we fight back and don't give up, we can win. We've always had a difficult headwind to face. Where God said we can win this battle. But there are 10 million blacks unregistered. You can't win if you can't ride unless you're registered to ride. In Georgia, 760,000 blacks in this state unregistered. If we use that strength, we can win against all these odds.
And there it is, folks, from none other than the honorable, the great, the legend of legend himself, Reverend Jesse Jackson, here live on NBTV. We want you guys to continue to stay tuned.